Hello roofing contractors, I'm Adib and this is Jeff. We're with Roof Coating Supply and what we're going to be going over is the Modified Bitumen commercial roofing system. Jeff, let's start with how would you install this system, this Modified Bitumen system, if you were to install it?
Well, first off, I've done a lot of Modified Bitumen roofs and I actually like the product. However, there's some critical things you have to know when you install Modified Bitumen. Number one is how thick is the membrane, because there's different mill thicknesses of the membrane. The thicker membrane costs more. A lot of people don't want to spend money on it. But when you do a Modified Bitumen roof system, and say you're going over a new, you're doing a new install where you've got brand new ISO, you want to go with a base sheet first. Generally, I like to go with a self-adhered base sheet, one that is very high quality. It's kind of expensive, but that's what I prefer, because once you get that base sheet down, you're closer to getting your roof in the dry. After that, the product torches down. Now, the torching of the product is very critical because a lot of installers don't use the proper amount of heat. As they're rolling out the Modified Bitumen, they have a propane tank that's attached to an open flame. And they're heating the open flame and they're rolling it out. They need to be real critical of the asphalt base underneath melting. And they're looking for what in the industry is called a bleed out. And that's real critical when you install.
On the seams?
Yeah, on the seams. And the other thing about Modified Bitumen is it is kind of difficult to work with. When you're doing curbs and wall flashings, you've got to get that product up on the wall. Generally, you'll use a cant strip so you can roll it up. And then you've got to heat it and bend it back on the wall.
What's a cant strip, just so that everybody...
A cant strip is...
and what does that do?
It's a Celtech product typically, even sometimes it's even wood. It's a product that will give you a 45-degree angle on a 90 on a wall flashing, and it just makes it easier for that membrane to go up the wall and doesn't leave a crease where it would crack. You know, when you're doing the product, it's very critical to do it with a lot of safety involved. Generally speaking, you'll want to stay behind an hour to 2 hours a day after you complete your application for the day. You always should have fire extinguishers and water. You've got to be aware of the fact that you're dealing with an open flame.
Okay, so they're very hazardous compared to the other roof systems.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
On these Modified Bitumen flat roof systems, what is the general lifespan that you've seen?
That's a really good question, because personally I've always wondered myself. Recently I read that some engineers are saying that they actually start their deterioration around 8.3, 8.5 years, which is really a short lifespan. But that doesn't necessarily mean the product's not going to last 12 to 15 years. It just means it begins its deterioration. Once they start to degranulate, then it'll rapidly speed up that deterioration of the asphalt product. But personally, if you ever to ask me, I would say 12 to 15 years.
Okay, and with these Modified Bitumen roof systems, are there any disadvantages to these kind of systems?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of disadvantages, especially in today's climate. Number one is, because you're using open flame, and if you're buying your insurance, your general liability, and you're being honest with your insurance company, you're letting them know that you work with an open flame, your rates are going to be higher. Second is, and this is real critical, if your guys make a mistake and they have to return and do a repair, sometimes you can, just because you're trying to get the repair done, you are affecting the integrity and the lifespan of the roof itself.